Thank you for joining me on this video. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Take care of yourself and others. Bye for now. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for the support. Remember to hit that like button so that the video can be promoted on YouTube. Let's get right into the video. So there's so many people coming out and speaking about the exorbitant salary increases that was done. I think it was done last week, where we see the member of parliaments, the prime minister, and judges and other groups getting a massive salary increase. This has not been resolved. Still a lot of unanswered questions around this, and people are still up in arms about it. It will not go away. It's tension in the air. It's not sitting well with people who are getting 5 and 10% and 15%, 13%, 20%. A lot of people are not happy about it, and it's not going to go away. We see where the prime minister is saying that he will forego his salary for now. So that doesn't solve the issue. So we need to just meet the issue head on and deal with the issue and go back to the table. The Advocates Network Jamaica says the political directorate should receive no more than 20% increase in line with some public sector employees. Professor Rosalie Hamilton, co-chair of the Advocates Network, said the salaries of the political directorate should not have been significantly increased without an independent report on the performance of each member of parliament and government minister. Once we have that, then the country will better understand what we expect our MPs and the ministers to do. We will be clear about these measures, and a report that assesses each MP and ministers against those measures would be very instructive for the public to understand the basis under which these figures can be justified. So that's where the problem is. We cannot justify. It's like there's no justification of 100%, 200%, even 50%. Which boss calls you into the office and gives you 40, 50, 80, 100, forget about 100 and 200 and 300%. Nobody. That is an exceptional move. It would have to be out of the ordinary for you to get that type of raise, right? The norm, and I'm going to be totally honest because I've been in the corporate world, it can go from usually from 1 to 5%. If you have not gotten an increase in a couple of years, you may see a little bit extra. Say anything over 5 years, then you probably get 10 or 20% if you haven't gotten it in a while. As per usual, you get something every year, a little bit every year. That's the norm. Nobody gets these type of raises. So let's continue. I think without that, it is really seen by most Jamaicans as outrageous, she contended. The Advocates Network has also demanded the inclusion of an appropriate and an acceptable accountability framework as part of the constitutional reform process. Let's go back to the table. Let's ask the Prime Minister to put on the table in black and white the accountability measures that he said on Friday is already done, so that should be easy for the country to see what are the measures that we're going to hold our elected officials to. He's also mentioned that since 2017, that he's been preparing these job descriptions. So we're asking for those also to be brought to the table, said Professor Hamilton. The Advocates Network said it will be staging a protest over the increased salaries this Wednesday at the National Heroes Park in Kingston. PSOJ is also saying with the Prime Minister not accepting his salary, basically doesn't solve anything. It's not resolving the issue, basically, right? and we're going to get into that on the next video. So the National Heroes Park this Wednesday. I had the time written down. I believe it's between 12 and 2. I think that's around the time frame that they're deciding to do it. You can check on their website, Advocates Network. And the National Heroes Park is a significant landmark. Not only are the national heroes buried there, but that's the place where our ancestors went to in 1838 when they were free of bondage. They went there to celebrate, and there were fireworks and everything else, right? There was a little party going on there. So whenever you go to the National Heroes Park next time, just remember that this is where some of our foreparents came to that spot to celebrate. So it's significant that they're going back there. We take note of the Prime Minister's recent attempt to address the controversy surrounding the inflated salary package for himself and his cabinet ministers. Stated response appears quite insincere and contrived. Nobody gets these type of raises. Nowhere. I can tell you that. And when the Prime Minister says that he's going to hold them accountable, after these huge raises, they have to work for every cent. It does not work like that. That's why people are asking, where are the recommendations? Where are the evaluations? Right? There was some put in place. 15 or 16 recommendations were done. The People's National Party is reiterating that given the disproportionate remuneration awarded to Jamaican politicians compared to their regional counterparts, along with the relative underperformance, that is a key word, underperformance of the Jamaican economy and the lack of equity in the compensation awarded across the public sector, the announced salaries for ministers and members of parliament, so those are the MPs, should be immediately withdrawn. So rejected, scrapped, rebuffed, refused, renounced. In a statement on Tuesday, the PNP said to look at the matter afresh with objectivity. An independent panel should be appointed to review the salaries of ministers and members of parliament. The approach, the opposition said, would ensure greater equity and a more proportionate and reasonable outcome, which the Jamaican people are demanding. So keyword, demanding. The people, they're the ones who hired or put in place or elected their representatives, right? They are representatives of the people working for the people. So that is a big difference than when you're working in the corporate world, right? So they are demanding, and the people, they have the power, they have the final say. If something doesn't sit well with the citizens, then you have to address it and try to polish it up or dress it up and then hide some under the rug, or try to make it presentable by washing it and then bring it forward. It's not going to work because the people are pulling off the scales of whatever is being done. Because if I'm not mistaken, what their gripe was and still is the fact that these salaries were out of bounds. The increases, like nobody gets these increases. And we're talking across the board for the people who got these increases, not just the MPs. The whole thing needs to be revisited. Nobody gets these type of raises. Nowhere. I can tell you that. And when the Prime Minister says that he's going to hold them accountable, after these huge raises, they have to work for every cent. It does not work like that. That's why people are asking, where are the recommendations? Where are the evaluations, right? There were some put in place. 15 or 16 recommendations were done. Thank you for joining me on this video. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Take care of yourself and others. Bye for now.